You've probably heard countless fuel-saving tricks, maybe from a friend, a gas station worker, or something you read online. But let's be clear, not everything you hear is true. From so-called magic fuel gadgets to the myth of premium gas making your car better, some of these ideas are quietly draining your wallet. Today, we're exposing 13 of the dumbest fuel myths people still believe, one of which might be costing you money every single time you fill up. So buckle up, because we're separating fact from fiction. Premium fuel makes your car better. Picture this. You're at the gas station, staring at the pump. Regular fuel is clearly cheaper, but premium sounds fancy. Maybe it makes your car faster, more efficient, or even cleaner, right? Spoiler alert, lest your car specifically requires premium fuel, you're just wasting money. Premium simply has a higher octane rating, designed to prevent engine knocking in high-performance or turbocharged engines. If your car is built for regular fuel and most are premium, won't give you extra power, extra efficiency, or a cleaner engine. Modern fuels already come with detergents to keep your system clean, no matter which grade you use. Switching to premium won't magically scrub away years of buildup. That's what regular maintenance is for, not overpriced gas. To put it in perspective, choosing premium over regular can add $5, $10 to every tank. Over a year, that's hundreds of dollars burned for zero benefit. The takeaway? Check your owner's manual. If it doesn't say premium is required, stick with regular. Your engine and your wallet will thank you. Save the premium for your coffee, not your fuel pump. Are manual transmissions more fuel efficient? Once upon a time, yes. Driving stick used to mean better fuel efficiency, while old-school automatics guzzled gas. But times have changed. Modern automatics are in a whole new league, thanks to advanced tech like dual-clutch systems and continuously variable transmissions, CVTs. Many automatics now match or even beat manuals in fuel economy. Take the Subaru WRX. The manual version averages 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers, while the CVT does it at 8.6. Or the Toyota 86, the manual burns 8.4, while the automatic sips just 7.1. Sure, in some cases, manuals are still slightly more efficient, but the difference is so tiny, like 0.1 liters per 100 kilometers, that it barely matters. Meanwhile, automatics offer smoother rides, more gears, and smarter shifting that save effort and make driving easier. As for cost, manuals are usually cheaper up front, sometimes by as much as $2,000. That's serious cash you could use for road trips or cover the tiny fuel difference for years. The truth about overinflating tires. Maybe you've heard this one. 2. Pump your tires above the recommended pressure and you'll get better mileage. Sounds simple, right? Less tire touching the road means less friction, and less friction should mean less fuel burned. Plenty of drivers swear by it, even claiming they've seen a slight bump in MPG. But here's the truth. This myth is running on fumes. Sure, overinflating your tires might shave a tiny bit of rolling resistance, but the cost is steep. Your safety. Overinflated tires grip the road about as well as cheap flip-flops on a rainy day. Slippery, it's unstable, and dangerously unpredictable. On wet pavement, forget it. And when you hit a pothole, those overinflated tires become ticking time bombs, raising the risk of a blowout. Add to that uneven tread where, and before long, your tires will be balder than a billiard ball. As for fuel savings, we're talking about barely 1 to 2%, not worth the harsh ride, poor handling, and shorter tire life. If you want real savings, stick with the pressure listed in your owner's manual. You'll drive safer, smoother, and get the most out of your tires. Safe pressure, better performance, it's a win-win. Does filling up early in the morning save money? Here's another one. Fill up your tank first thing in the morning and you'll get more gas for your money, because cooler temps mean denser fuel. On the surface, It sounds like science. Liquids expand when they're warm, so early morning gas should give you more for the same price, right? Not so fast. Gas stations keep their fuel in massive underground tanks where the temperature barely changes all day. Consumer Reports tested this and found that while the air outside might swing by 12 degrees or more, the fuel coming out of the nozzle stayed rock steady at about 62 degrees Fahrenheit even in the afternoon. At most, the first gallon or two might be slightly warmer from sitting in the pump, but once that clears, it's all the same. The difference? About 1%. That's pennies, not dollars. So don't lose sleep over this one. Morning, noon, or night it doesn't matter. Your wallet won't notice the difference. Does topping off the tank save gas? We've all done it. The pump clicks off, but you squeeze the handle one more time, maybe just to hit an even number or to fit in a little extra fuel. Seems harmless, right? Actually, it's one of the most expensive myths out there. Here's what really happens. Once your tank is full, that extra gas you're forcing in doesn't stay in your car at all. Instead, it gets sucked back into the station's vapor recovery system. That means you're paying for fuel you'll never use. But it gets worse. Consumer Reports found that topping off can actually harm your vehicle's evaporative emissions. System, a key setup designed to trap fuel vapors. Damage that system, and you're looking at costly repairs. That make that extra squeeze one of the most expensive mistakes you can make at the pump. That extra fuel you squeeze in can actually saturate the charcoal canister inside your emissions system, causing it to fail and light up the check engine warning and fixing that. Not cheap. You're looking at repairs that can run into the hundreds. If that isn't enough to convince you, think about the gas spilling onto the ground. Not only is it messy, but it's also a safety and environmental hazard. The takeaway is simple. When the pump clicks off, stop pumping. You'll save money. Avoid costly repairs and help keep the air a little cleaner. Do dirty air filters kill gas mileage? You've probably heard this one at the mechanic shop. They hold up a dusty air filter and warn you that it's killing your fuel efficiency. It makes sense at first. If your car can't breathe, how can it run properly? But here's the surprise. This myth is based on outdated logic. Modern vehicles don't care if the filter looks like it's been through a desert. Thanks to fuel injection technology, your car automatically adjusts the air-fuel mix, meaning gas mileage doesn't take a hit. In fact, a 2009 U.S. Department of Energy study found zero difference in fuel economy between clean and dirty air filters in modern cars. That's right, zero. Now, if you're driving something built before 1990, or you notice sluggish acceleration, then a clogged filter can affect performance. But swapping it every 5,000 kilometers. Overkill. Most filters are good for about 48,000 kilometers or more. So before you hand over $30, $50 for a new one you don't really need, check your owner's manual. Save that cash for something fun like snacks for your next road trip. Does nitrogen in your tires save fuel? Let me guess, someone at the shop told you. Filling your tires with nitrogen is the secret to better mileage and longer tire life. Sounds high-tech, right? If it's good enough for airplanes and race cars, it must be good for your commute too. But here's the truth. This myth is full of hot air. Nitrogen has its place in extreme environments like aviation, where tires go from scorching runways to freezing altitudes, or in racing, where cars push 200 miles per hour on the track. But your daily drive, it's not happening at 35,000 feet. Or at Daytona speeds. Regular air already, 78% nitrogen works just fine. And that promise of better fuel economy, it's total nonsense. What really matters is keeping your tires properly inflated. Underinflated tires will drag down your mileage, while properly inflated ones save you money no matter what gas is inside. And don't forget the cost. Shops often charge $5, $10 or more per tire for nitrogen. That's money better spent on Well, just about anything else. The takeaway? Save the nitrogen for airplanes and race cars. For your car, plain old air will do the job. Windows down or a C on which saves more fuel. It's summer, it's blazing hot, and you're stuck in traffic. Do you roll the windows down or blast the AC? Everyone seems to have an opinion. Windows cause drag, AC guzzles fuel, and suddenly cooling off feels like a tough decision. So, what's the right move? The truth is, neither option is truly fuel efficient. Running the AC puts extra load on your engine and can cut fuel economy by up to 25%, especially on short trips. On the flip side, driving with your windows down increases drag, making your car work harder, particularly on the highway. A no-win battle where both sides come with trade-offs. So what should you actually do? It depends. At low city speeds, rolling the windows down is usually better since drag isn't a big factor. But once you hit the highway, it's smarter to use the AC at a moderate setting, less you want your car to feel like a wind tunnel. The sweet spot for savings. Keep the AC at the warmest setting you can tolerate. Let hot air escape before switching it on, and use the recirculate option to cool cabin air instead of pulling in heat from outside. And avoid blasting the AC on max. A little balance goes a long way. Does coasting in neutral save fuel? You've probably heard this one. Shift into neutral when driving downhill and you'll save gas. The idea is that momentum does the work while your engine rests. Sounds logical, but it's completely wrong. In modern fuel-injected cars, when you're coasting in gear with your foot off the accelerator, the system actually cuts fuel delivery entirely. Your engine keeps spinning, but it's not burning a drop. Shift into neutral though, and your car idles still sipping fuel just to stay alive. So not only are you not saving, you're actually wasting fuel. And that's not the only problem. Coasting in neutral takes away control. You can't accelerate quickly if something happens. And snapping back into drive at speed S, especially with an automatic, puts serious stress on your transmission. That can mean costly repairs running into the thousands. And here's a kicker. In some places, coasting in neutral is actually illegal, since it's considered not maintaining proper control of your vehicle. Fail a driving test, or, worse, cause an accident while coasting, and you'll regret that fuel-saving trick. The smart move. Keep it in drive and let your car's technology handle it. You'll save fuel, avoid expensive repairs, and stay in full control. Do old cars really guzzle more gas? You've heard it before. The older the car, the worse the mileage. People love to call them gas guzzlers. But here's the twist that's not always true. If you take proper care of your vehicle, it can deliver the same efficiency at 150,000 miles as it did at 15,000. Shocking, right? The difference isn't a JIT's maintenance. Engines don't just lose efficiency because they're old. If you're sticking to regular oil changes, tune-ups, and timely repairs, an older car can perform just as well as a newer one when it comes to fuel economy, keeping your air filter clean and staying on top of wear and tear. Items like spark plugs and tires can keep your car delivering strong fuel economy for years. In fact, some vehicles even get slightly better mileage during the first few years as the engine breaks in. But ignore basic maintenance, and that's when things fall apart. Worn-out oxygen sensors, underinflated tires, and clogged filters can crush your fuel efficiencies, sometimes by as much as 20%. That means hundreds of extra dollars burned at the pump every year. Can switching fuel brands wreck your engine? You might have heard this one. Changing fuel brands or octane levels will damage your engine. It sounds intimidating, like your car might revolt just because you swap stations. But here's the truth. Your engine doesn't care about brand loyalty. It won't hold a grudge because you went from a big-name chain to a corner gas stop. As long as you're using the correct octane level for your regular, mid-grade, or premium, you're fine. The real danger comes from ignoring your manufacturer's recommendation. If your car requires premium and you put in regular, that's when problems start. But switching between Shell, Exxon, or BP, no big deal. The takeaway: don't stress about where you fill up. Just use the right grade and your engine will be perfectly happy. Do only small vehicles get great fuel economy? When most people think fuel efficiency, they picture tiny cars or hybrids darting around town, saving gas and saving the planet. But that's an outdated assumption. Thanks to modern technology, bigger vehicles have closed the gap. Hybrid SUVs can now deliver close to 35 miles per gallon. And clean diesel trucks are hitting impressive numbers while hauling heavy loads. Automakers have found a balance between performance, space, and efficiency. So if you've been avoiding larger vehicles just to save on gas, you may be selling yourself short. These days, it's less about the size of the car and more about the technology under the hood. Does starting your car burn more fuel than idling? Here's a classic. You're sitting in your car waiting and think, should I turn the engine off or let it idle? Isn't restarting worse for fuel economy? That advice may have been true decades ago, back in the carburetor era. Cold starts needed a richer fuel mix back then, and yes, more fuel was burned. But modern fuel-injected engines are built differently. They precisely control the air-fuel ratio the moment you turn the key, so no wasted gas, no manual choke, no extra burn. The rule of thumb today is simple. If you're going to be stopped for more than 30 seconds, shut the engine off. Even with efficiency improvements, idling still wastes fuel. A few stops like that every day can add up quickly, easily, a few gallons a month. Do the math, and that's over $100 a year, literally going up in smoke. The takeaway: don't cling to outdated advice. If you're waiting, turn it off. It saves fuel and helps the environment.